52 people are said to have been killed during a riot at Altamira jail in Brazil's Pará state. Violence in the 200-capacity prison broke out at 7 a.m. local time and ended around noon. Gang members from one prison block invaded another part of Altamira. Both gangs have not been named by authorities. Here's Simon Pusi with other foreign stories in Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom here in London. China has condemned the recent anti-government protests in Hong Kong as horrendous incidents that have caused serious damage to the rule of law. The city has seen 8 consecutive weekends of anti-government protests. Over the weekend, hundreds of riot police blocked activists from advancing towards the Chinese government's representative office, known as the Central Government Liaison Office. Protesters threw bricks and erected barricades at several different locations in the city. Officers responded by firing rounds of rubber bullets and tear gas. A spokesman for China's top policy office on Hong Kong insisted that the territory's top priority was to restore social order. The comments marked a rare intervention by the Hong Kong and Macau Affairs Office.
The
demonstrations and violent attacks in Hong Kong have lasted for more than a month and have had a very adverse impact on the rule of law, public order, the economy and people's livelihood, as well as the global image of Hong Kong. It's heartbreaking for all those who care about Hong Kong and cherish Hong Kong.
However, pro-democracy lawmakers say Beijing's statement is simply fanning the flames.
The way they say they would absolutely or resolutely rather support Carrie Lam and the police force, they're trying to divide Hong Kong into 2 parts, right?
3 people have been killed and 15 injured after a gunman attacked a food festival in California.
What's going on? What's going on?
The gunman was shot dead by police shortly after he began firing, although police are investigating reports that a second suspect may still be at large. The Gilroy Garlic Festival was about to end for the weekend on Sunday evening when shots were fired at the site. It was the 246th mass shooting in the US this year, according to the US gun deaths tracking website Gun Violence Archive.
I want to express my extreme shock and sadness for what has happened today. This is an active investigation. I would ask for the thoughts and prayers of the community as our Gilroy police officers continue to investigate this tragic and senseless crime.
A doctor for Alexei Navalny, Russia's most prominent opposition figure, says he has been discharged from hospital. Mr. Navalny, who was detained last week, will now be transferred back to jail. Initial reports suggested that he had suffered from an acute allergic reaction resulting in a swollen face, eye problems and rashes on his body. His doctor said she opposed his discharge, saying he'd never suffered from allergies before and may have been exposed to some toxic agent. The manhunt for 2 Canadian teenagers has shifted to the area of York Landing in Manitoba, about 3,000 kilometres from the crime scene in British Columbia. Cam McLeod and Bryash Mikelski are wanted for the murders of 3 people. Police had concentrated their search in recent days in the harsh terrain in the Gillam area using drones, dogs and military help before focusing on York Landing on Sunday. Police searched slow-moving passenger trains while residents in Gillam have been asked to stay indoors and be on high alert as police went door-to-door asking residents for any information on the 2 murder suspects. The Thai king Maha Vajiralongkorn has marked his 67th birthday, hosting an audience of royals and government officials. The ceremony, containing many traditional rituals, took place at the palace at the same time it was announced that the king will be exempt from tax on some of his lands. Lands and establishments will now be exempt from tax according to the new legislation published in the Royal Gazette. The king has been listed as the world's richest monarch, with an estimated personal wealth of more than $30 billion. A video clip of a Pakistani reporter speaking in neck-deep floodwaters has gone viral. Azadar Hussain, who works for the local channel GTV News, had only his head and microphone above the water as he reported on the situation. Some social media users praised Hussain's dedication, while others feared for his safety. According to the National Disaster Management Authority, 71 people have lost their lives in rain-related incidents across the country in the past month. The Meteorological Office has predicted that the monsoon currents are expected to spread to central and southern parts of the country over the next 2 days. And finally, an American teenager has won $3 million after taking the top prize in a tournament in New York for the popular online video game Fortnite. Kyle Giersdorf was one of at least 100 players competing for $30 million in total prize money. Playing under the name Booger, the 16-year-old won the solo finals portion of the Fortnite World Cup by scoring 59 points, 26 more than his nearest competitor, Sam. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Sports News is next. Here's Olumide Macaulay.
Thank you, Amarachi. Welcome to Sports News. The 2019 AITEO Cup has produced new champions in the men's and women's finals decided at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna State.
As it's the tradition of the AITEO Cup final, the women's game kicks off the grand finale. The tight contest ended goalless after regulation time and penalty shootout comes to play according to the rules of the competition. In the final moment of the shootout, Chiwendo Orji's kick was saved by goalkeeper Uchenna Chinedu, and Mary Saiki scored the winner for the Amazons to make it 5-4 from the spot. After the lack of fireworks in the women's game, so much was expected of the men's final between Niger Tornadoes and Kano Pillars. The game also fails to yield any goal, and it heads straight to penalty.
We are proud to sponsor the AITEO Cup, formerly called the Federations Cup, because it is the largest FA club competition. It holds every year. For this year, we have chosen the monikers Powering Nigeria's Passion and Leave Your Mark, because at AITEO we believe that AITEO is the future. That's what we say. And management is proud to develop grassroots talents.
This game has been a very interesting and competitive one, and would want to see a lot more like this, and would like to congratulate the winners, the runner-up, and all the others that participated through the tournament.
It's the first time in 66 years that a team from Kano would emerge victorious after Kano 11's triumph in 1953.
And that's it on Sports News.
And the main news again, some eminent Nigerians today brainstormed on solutions to the country's security challenges in Minna, Niger State, but the Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Forum boycotted the forum, noting that lumping of a trade group, Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders, whose members have been allegedly accused of various rights violations across the country, sends worrying signals to them. That is the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for watching. I am Amarachi Ubani. Good night.